what's the reasoning behind that? Why is atheism so bad in your opinion?
Well, compared to what? Compared to becoming a Christian, let's say,
Yeah,
I
for
think
example.
the way, as a religious person, I gauge what's better than something else is who keeps more laws. I think a Christian, even unwillingly, unconsciously, keeps more laws than an atheist. A Christian keeps more laws than a Noahide. I think the ideal is to embrace the Torah existence, but if you're not going to do that, at least adopt an offshoot. I think atheism, for the most part, is probably less than 300 years old, meaning the idea that you're warring against the notion of God, that you don't want other people to believe in God, was created as a reaction essentially to Christianity. If an atheist was truly honest, he either identifies an optimistic or pessimistic agnostic, not someone who in some way makes a statement of faith that God doesn't exist, which is essentially, by the term alone, what atheism actually means. So, in the last 150 years, I think more people have been unalived in atheistical pursuits than have ever been unalived in the name of Judaism, Christianity, or Islam. And that's 180 million people in the last 150 years under communism, the most popular atheistical pursuit. And this is why there's nothing worse on this planet than an atheist. Now, every Jewish person could claim to have an atheist in their family. Not every Jewish person could claim to have a Christian in their family. So anyone who's pushing this narrative that the biggest threat, the existential threat to Jews is Christianity, is living in a different universe.
So what would you say then to the counter? Because this is the counter argument: is that from a an orthodoxy perspective in Judaism, the problem with the atheist is just that they don't keep the Torah. The problem with the Christian is that they are in violation of idolatry and laws surrounding that. So technically speaking, from a perspective of orthodoxy, it's worse to be a Christian because it's idolatry in the eyes of Orthodox Judaism.
So atheism is also considered a form of avodah zarah, technically, it's from a Talmudic perspective. Kafira, which is essentially what atheism was traditionally known as, which is to deny, is a form of avodah zarah, like you're worshiping God or you're in some way relating to God in a way that He didn't prescribe. The problem with an atheist is that he tries to reinvent the wheel ethically for himself on a daily basis. The Christian shares our Bible, right? He can articulate his values from our Bible. So he's that much more trustworthy. An atheist derives his values on whatever his heart tells him on any particular day, on whether he had coffee or didn't have coffee or sugar that morning. So this is why most atheistical societies have only left a trail of blood and carnage. While I think that the existence of Christianity has been an ethical net gain on this planet, mainly because they try to emulate someone who lived a Torah existence.
Okay. So your value that you see in Christianity is that they are in a very close way um the next best as far as following the commandments of God on a
Absolutely.
objective standard, meaning that it's not a preference, it's an objective standard that they're appealing to.
Yeah, well, and I come to that conclusion on strictly selfish reasons because I have to share this planet with these individuals. And I feel the same way about Islam. I think Islam is essentially an offshoot of Judaism, even though they deny it. Right? I think any academic could come to that conclusion that what makes Islam and Christianity an ethical force in humanity uh, for essentially the good is that it recycled the ethics that first appeared in our Torah and just basically just brought narrative and metaphysics to the mix.
Right. So so how did you what's your background in Judaism? Like where did you get into this and how you got to where you're doing? Because if I'm understanding correctly, you are Orthodox at the end of the
I
day.
am Orthodox,
You're
and
just
I'm also a
controversial.
convert. Yeah, I mean, I'm actually a convert to Judaism. I converted around 25 years ago.